Hey, what's up, guys? This is Team Hard Life Captain Alberto Zertuche and Mr. Gary. We are on Cosway Pier, coming out to see if the big black drum have showed up over here for a day trip. We got a few hours in, and I decided to go ahead and throw the underwater camera. The reason I decided to do that was because Mr. Gary was smoking them sand trouts, and they were a very nice size. They weren't little bitty ones, so he was catching them in such numbers that I decided that what it would look like underwater with the underwater camera, but at the same time I'm gonna show the top. Let's see what happens.
Gotta bite. I think I got a lot of stress on my mind. It's a nice day to go. Yeah, I gotta line. I'ma call the whole team.
Alright, so with everything said, what Gary was using for bait was the double drop drum leader with fish bites tipped with some shrimp. But then he also started just throwing the fish bites by itself. So with the underwater camera, I figured I'd get it out there and see how it looks. Obviously, this was earlier time when we're actually doing the above water footage, but it shows the exact conditions that while we were fishing with the underwater camera and what we were seeing above water. So I figured I'd go and let it roll down, because this is a little bit brighter during the day. As you can see, it's a little bit darker in the underwater footage, but not by much. I mean, it was maybe 30 minutes of change time. And so I said, you know what, let me go and get this out there and see what ends up happening. So I wanted to go and leave it off to the side there, but I'm going to leave the above water footage so y'all can see what's going on above water while we're working the camera underwater. This will be a good side-by-side comparison, just because that's what we needed right there. One of the other things I wanted to show y'all is you can see the night vision camera light. I had went ahead and turned it on, because with the current rolling the way it was, the water was very chocolate milk looking, so I knew the water clarity wasn't going to be great even at that depth. So I went ahead and casted it out. Right there you can see I'm actually editing and still answering the messages on my YouTube channel to make sure that it was all good to go, because I had found out that I had missed hundreds upon hundreds of comments on the channel. Well, now, almost a month and a half later, I have finally finished. I have answered every single message or post or comment left on my channel since I started. And it was, talk about a daunting task, but I have done it. It probably took several hundred hours to accomplish this feat, because like I said, there was times when I was doing the comment contest and subscriber contest, and somehow, some way I missed a bunch of these comments. But we got it all said and done, and you got the underwater camera going. So let's check this out, guys. So y'all can see how hot Gary was. It was pretty much every couple of minutes it was casting in and pulling out, you know, 2 sand trout, 1 sand trout, 2 sand trout, 2 sand trout, and it was just fish after fish after fish. Now, if you're looking at the underwater camera, it's not really giving you a whole lot of insight of what's going on down there, and that's what's really tripping me out. So, and even then too, I kind of had a feeling on that, because it didn't get picked up in those first few minutes. So what I did was I picked it up and repositioned it into deeper water, closer to where he was at, to see if we can see something else going on. That was the whole point of us using these underwater cameras, is to figure out what's going on down there before we actually started fishing, or even after we're done fishing, so we can learn and really expand our knowledge on what we're doing and how we're doing it, because that's the whole point in everything we do, is to become more proficient fishermen And also too, by learning all the knowledge and everything that we got going, we can share that with all of our YouTubers in order to help them raise their game and their expectations in fishing and in knowledge. So stay tuned as we continue going on with the video. All right, as we keep rocking and rolling through there, like I said, with the video and the underwater camera, you can see the difference in the amount of current that is going through. You know, it's crazy that it looks like it's going to your right, but underwater it's going to your left. That is food for thought. I don't know. Somehow maybe the camera landed facing us. Is that the way it landed? I don't know. That's the only bad thing about using the underwater camera. It's only showing that, but once I got it out there, I was able to continue going on with it. And that's also too the cool thing about the fish bites is we can reuse it and catch multiple fish on it. So we'll continue on and see, maybe we can catch a big fish swimming by, or maybe they're not here yet. That's the other thing of this. Was here that the fish are locked the jaw, you know, right before a front or right after a front, and they're just sitting there and they're just not feeding. Well, by putting the underwater cameras out there, it shows that they're not even there. That, or they're out of range and we can't see them. Maybe they are on a totally separate part of this area that we're fishing, because the spot we're fishing, there's actually 5 different channels that meet up all in this one little area, which is a great thing for fishing because they come in from different areas, from the flats, they come in from other channels that are leading up into this. So it just really all depends. There's always some kind of movement and current here, which is a great thing for fishing. Now, something else I wanted to go ahead and address, since we are throwing the underwater camera again. Now we're using either the 16 strand hollow core by Cortland braid, and or the 12 strand, what they consider still a solid braid by Cortland. And yes, this is a great video because it helps show that the lines, even though there's all this current and stuff like that, are not getting cut off with all the debris flying by. A lot of the misconception is that the braids cannot put up with all this abrasion and this and that. And you know, if you actually go back through our library of all the videos that we have been putting out and see how much torment the sand and debris and everything that's happening underwater, I mean, sometimes it looks like there's category 5 hurricanes going on underneath the water surface, and the braid never gets cut off. We've never lost a camera because of the current or because of waves or anything like that. We've lost it because of other things, such as a boat and or getting caught up in rocks and breaking off the line. I mean, there's legit reasons other than speculation, and the speculation is they cannot put up with all the abrasion of the sand and everything that is underwater. Well, here you go. Here's a prime example of everything that's flying by on the camera. You know, just because it's in front of the camera, it's also happening behind the camera as well. So it's just food for thought, guys. A lot of y'all that have been scared to get into the hollow core braid game, you know, this is a lot of food for thought being pitched to you here with a whole lot of videos to back up what we are saying. And we're talking hundreds of hours that I've been working these underwater cameras for the last several years to prove it. That, like I said, we don't get cut off because of that. We get cut off because of other things, you know, other salty toothies or a boat or, you know, something like that that is pretty much out of our control kind of deal. I mean, like all cutoffs are out of our control, but to only say that they get cut off by the sand and or, you know, yeah, that's something else, guys. You know, just food for thought. It's a simple notion, but a very powerful notion at the same time. With these cameras, we are able to expand our knowledge both above water and underwater to improve our fishing, our skills, our ability to catch and target these fish in a very specific and direct way. So if y'all haven't had the ability to check out our YouTube videos on the underwater camera footage, I would highly recommend y'all doing it, because it would really give y'all some insight as to how these predatory fish are feeding and or how they're stealing your bait. You know, if you're new to the channel and you haven't subscribed yet, I would highly recommend doing so. Give us a big thumbs up and go and check out all the other videos that we got going, because it really is a lot of food for knowledge, and we hope you enjoy. All right, guys, we're going to continue back with this video and we'll see what's going to happen. go out and teach them, and we got a setup where we can take people out on tour. Like this is our 3-way record rig right here. It's a 3-way line.
Get the weight on here.
Yeah. These are 125 pound test. No.
About fishing the one.
2 of these rigs are 7. We're at our shop over here. I think they're like 850. Well, you got to think too, man.
It takes time.
Well, that and you ain't gonna leave here to drive back to my shop. It's more expensive. So if you pre-plan a trip, you can save money going to. I saw all the reels and rods and lines and stuff like that.
I'll stop in there one day.